What's his name?
Todd, I'm eating cupcakes.
Pam.
I'm eating imaginary cupcakes from Pam Cakes, a Philadelphia cupcakery.
Well, Morgan liked hers.
Oh, did she?
Yes.
And did what Jean say?
She only had half of one.
And
Morgan, Morgan housed the other three.
What kind did you get her?
Cookies and cream.
I got to lick the spoon.
Strawberry was maybe cheesecake.
I'm not a strawberry cheesecake fan.
And peanut butter cup.
You got peanut butter cup.
So why are we talking about
and
pancakes?
I ate none of them.
We're talking about Pam Cakes because we did a 5-minute portrait there. But before we do that, I should probably intro the show so we don't get too far in before I intro it.
Touché.
We just needed to, talk about Pam Cakes. Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com. Welcome to RAWtalk episode number 216. 216 on our way to more every other week, except for last week. There was actually a tweener. What do you call that?
Interview?
Tweener interview.
Bonus episode?
It was a it was an interview. So
it was solid.
It was such a great interview
Best
that it
interview,
had to stand on its own. So if you missed it, because yes, we do these. We do full RAWtalk episodes every other week, which is what we've been doing since the beginning of the year.
Yep.
And last week we had an interview that just so happened to be perfect on its own. So it was a little over. It was like an hour and 10 minutes. So we put that up in the tweener week, and a lot of people downloaded it, and a lot a lot of people watched the video.
And a lot of people thought that we had to wait another month for
somebody's
RAWtalk
like,
for some reason.
This means there will be no more there won't be a real RAWtalk for another month. I'm like, what are you
get
smoking?
an extra RAWtalk.
I don't know what they were smoking,
Yeah.
Steven. Speaking of smoking, let's talk about Pam Cakes. The cupcakes are smoking hot.
Yeah.
Those cupcakes are so damn good.
Yeah.
I love
I'll take your word for it.
Oh, yeah. Todd couldn't eat it.
Oh, yeah.
Todd couldn't eat it at all. Anyway, her Instagram is Pam Cakes Philly. If you want to follow her there, we were testing out we were doing a 5-minute portrait of the Nikon D5600 with the 18-55 kit lens and the 70-300 kit lens without VR. And man, oh man, does it suck not having VR in that 70-300.
Can't you put it inside? Oh, it doesn't have VR at all, that lens.
No, that is no VR.
And the D5600 is the one where you have to set it inside the camera, not on the lenses anymore?
It's not the camera, it's the lens. It's the lens. It's that 18-55 lens.
But don't you have to set it in the
yes,
menu?
you have to turn
That's
it
what
on
I mean.
in the menu.
That's a pain.
VR. Instead of just flicking a damn switch, it's always on.
Wonder why they did that.
Space.
I guess.
So they could save space. Anyway, so we did that real-world review. Sorry, 5-minute portrait. Then we did a 5-minute portrait the Monday prior, which Steven's going to be editing shortly, which was done at Johan Boxing. Oh, I was like, what the hell was that sound?
He needed his own horn. I just couldn't do Pam Pam.
I know there's construction outside, but so we did Johan Boxing over there. We took the Fuji X-T2 along with 4 different lenses, did a 5-minute portrait there.
Thing's lightning fast.
The thing is lightning fast, which
shoots fast, focuses fast.
Which when I was using the D500 yesterday with the Tamron 70-200 G2 review / comparison, I was like, damn, that mirrorless camera was fast. And he was even so much faster than the 5600, though it is more expensive than the 5600.
11 frames per second with the boosted grip, or you get 14 if you use the electronic shutters.
Yeah.
And you were shooting, I think, 11 that
I was
entire
shooting
time.
11?
And you had more than just one subject that shoot. You shot maybe 5, 6, 7 people.
There were probably 5 people.
Whoever was working out the gym.
Yeah.
That was a fun shoot.
So
Tough, but fun.
We have those 3 major content initiatives that are going to be getting into work.
Yep.
And yeah, so that's, what else did I miss? No, that's, oh.
Well, then yesterday, I mean, you didn't really talk about yesterday.
Yeah, so yesterday we took the 70-200 2.8 Tamron G2 out to St. Joseph's University for a baseball game.
Which is filming me right now, by the way.
70-200.
Yep.
And that's a $1,300 lens, and I know a lot of people are going to want to put against it the Nikon's $2,800 lens.
More than double the price.
I made sure that with the D500 and the D5 that I tried to take similar images with both cameras. Sorry, with both lenses.
Which is tough shooting sports, trying to get similar images.
I got pretty similar images of the picture. Yeah. Now, there's always going to be subtle nuances, but I'll just let you in on a little thing right now. Based off of the situation that we were photographing yesterday, the baseball game, comparing both of them, you also have to take into consideration that the focus may, I'm trying to shoot in the real world the same thing similarly. I'm sitting there analyzing on the computer, trying to figure out which one is which.
Wow.
And if you have to sit there and try to figure out which one is which, your answer is right there on whether or not somebody should purchase the Tamron 70-200 for that money.
1,300 versus 2,800.
I'm sure there's build quality differences.
Oh yeah,
and
well we already noticed that.
Did that with the, but we'll save all that for the real world review.
Well, my biggest question when Jared and I were talking about it yesterday, I was like, is it worth twice the money?
That's the question.
Is it worth
in the end of the day?
The money?
Is it worth twice the money?
My simple
More
answer
than twice the money.
My simple answer, as it always would be, most likely, is
you can give me any lens or camera in the world and I will crush it. That wasn't the answer.
The proper answer is if you're on a crop sensor camera and you're just starting out and you don't have money for glass, a lot of money for glass.
Yep.
I rather have you spend half as much on a 70-200 Tamron or Sigma, because that's going to be the real challenge. Is the Sigma versus when Sigma comes out with the new 70-200.
Yep.
That's the big one. But I tell people, don't spend $2,800 on that. Buy a third-party lens. Buy 2 third-party lenses.
Yeah.
Buy a 17-50, which Sigma still needs to come out with an updated 17-50.
It's been a while.
They need to update that one. But a 17-50 and a 70-200, and you're set for years.
And we shot both on DX and full frame yesterday.
Yeah, that's what I said.
We tested both. Yep.
It was interesting.
Yeah, fun day. Long day.
It was a long day, but we got out into the real world.
Yep.
And we shot, and I don't want to give away the whole review, but you guys
It was a little
can come
hard
back.
to shoot outside of the field. You're a little limited, I feel like, but
Well, partly with the D5 and not having the crop factor, the perceived value of the 300 millimeter on the Nikon on the D500 meant more.
Yeah.
But we'll save that. Let's get to the Pluggy McPluggerson, and then we'll get to another Pluggy well, not another Pluggy. Anyway, whatever. MyRoadReel.com.
Dave?
And now, here's this week's Pluggy McPluggerson.
I had a sneeze coming, and it didn't happen.
I was waiting for the rest of that
I
comment
know you
from
were
Dave.
confused. No, I know you guys get confused because we have so many different things that he says.
I know.
Anyway, MyRoadReel.com 2017 My Road Reel competition is live, and it's kicking, and you have a chance to win $500,000 in prizes. You can get all the information on the My Road Reel competition for 2017 over at, wait for it, MyRoadReel.com.
How do you spell that?
That's MyRoadReel.
So good, Jared.
C-O-M.
Proud of you.
Woo! I don't get one of these.
Smart, Jared. You're so
Which is if you get it
SMRT.
wrong. Smirt. Anyway, go to myroadreel.com. How to enter, make a 3-minute max short film, make a 3-minute max BTS feature, a Rode product that you use. So you're submitting 2 different things, the how it's made as well as the actual finished product. So
Can I submit my my review of the Rode microphone to
they're not
my
looking
Rode-
for reviews, but if you want to make a 3-minute video, Todd, you're more than welcome to enter. Because we're not involved in voting.
I got enough to do.
There's 25 different categories you can enter in. There's $500,000 in prizes. There's including 3 new categories, including Best Vlog, Best TV Commercial, Best Virtual Reality. If you do virtual reality, there's a better chance you can win because there's probably less people doing VR.
Yeah.
It sounds
Yep.
like Casey Neistat should submit for every single
For every
category.
single category. Dan, scroll the list of categories fast on the screen. Thanks. That was fast. Oh, yeah, there's a prize for Best BTS Educational Video. We can all enter. I verified this. Check out the 2-minute launch video at myroadreel.com.
I'm not reading.
And the last thing, Red Giant hookup.
Yes.
What happened there?
Red Giant hooked us up with their entire Magic Bullet suite. At first, we just had the Universal plugin for Premiere, which gives us a bunch of different effects, a lot of
For
looks.
people that don't know, Red Giant creates like a lot of plugins
Big
for your
plugins
editing
for
systems. They
Premiere
create
and
stuff
other-
for Final Cut, for
Yep, and all the
Premiere.
editors.
A lot of them that I like about Red Giant is that when you purchase like X plugin, it can work for both Final Cut and Premiere.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, they do have ones that kind of cross both.
And I
both
think Avid
platforms.
too as well. I think
Yeah,
there's
so,
like every type of editor out there.
They have really, really good plugins.
Yeah. So we just bought Universal at first, and then we got hooked up with the entire suite, which we have to play with. I mean, there's so many things you could do. Yeah, you really can get
What's your
creative.
plugin say? Sweet. What's your plugin say?
Dude. We personally use them for a lot of the motion effects and the 3D motion graphics and stuff like that
Yeah.
for our editing. But
Todd likes
we'll be doing a lot more now.
Todd likes the one for girls for Morgan.
Yeah, that's a different one.
Well, that's a Final Cut
But,
plugin, I think. Yeah.
But
built
Red
in.
Giant has looks.
Yep,
right?
exactly. A lot of
Looks
looks.
is a big one that a lot of
a lot
people
of looks,
use.
a lot of
Yeah.
presets. It's great.
Yep.
Guess what time it is? Well, so that's all the stuff that's going on in the FroKnowsPhoto world. We're here at the
Big
factory. We had the big downstairs room clean.
Yes.
Love that big downstairs room.
And your flat file is almost complete.
The flat file's almost complete.
Close.
Designer's away for 10 days.
Yep.
But it's in use. We can use it. We can get that room is fully clean.
The 1 hour photo signs waiting to be hung. I mean,
We can set the meth lab up without any contamination. We're good.
We're close to completion for sure. And we also looked at a bunch of different 32-inch monitors for editing for Dan and I.
Oh, yeah, we need to
We're going to go big. Yeah.
We need to finish that.
Yep.
And one day we'll be able to pee upstairs.
We're just really debating, should we get the LG Mac ones because we're working with Macs, or should we go third party?
But the LG Mac ones are 27 inches.
Well, one of them is. The other one is 32 inches that will be coming out soon.
Does the 32-inch one have a built-in eyesight?
No.
Because that's what
Well, you can get something different. I'm just strictly talking about Dan and I for editing. We're not going to be we don't need a camera for Skyping
you
or
guys
anything
don't.
like that. Yeah.
But-
or if we buy a separate camera.
But you like that. Which one did I buy you?
I personally use Asus, Asus, I believe is how they pronounce it. I have the 27-inch art monitor, the Pro Art series, which I love, and that's 3 years old now.
Yeah.
And they also make a 32-inch model, which is like the
31.5.
upgraded version, 31.5 for like, I don't know, $1,200 or something. And then there's also the BenQ monitor that we're looking at. That's a 31.5-inch monitor as well. 4K, most of them are. A lot of them are the HDR built in.
So basically, I got to get two monitors that are same, and then my monitor that I end up getting for on screen or something. Could be something else.
Because my biggest thing is right now, Dan and I go back and forth via email, and I have to tell him basically the color corrections because he's working on monitors from like 10 years ago that are like crappy LEDs. So we'll have IPS monitors so we can both look at each other's screens and see if it looks good, and
Then you
it'll
can
be
yell at
matching.
each other side by side.
Be yelling at Dan all the time.
All
yeah.
right.
No, it'll be perfect.
Let's
I can't wait.
get to Photo News, which is brought to you by Todd, if you had to guess.
This pretentious douchebag moment is brought to you by...
By who?
My Gear Vault.
Gear Vault.
Hey, good guess, Todd. My Gear Vault wrote a big check for that one. And by writing a big check, I mean it's my company, so...
We've got a wedding photographer. They were faced with a tough location, a ceremony held in the middle of the ocean. The couple, Susanna and Giovanni, were told by their planner to not get married in the water as it's much too complicated.
Don't get married in the water. It's too complicated.
However, the bride is a scuba diver and says her happiest days were always in the water.
Well, why didn't Von Wong shoot this wedding?
Yeah, that's true. So photographer Sol Tamargo of Del Sol Photography, not De La Soul, took on the challenge.
Blame it on the rain. Yeah, yeah.
So she went with
Blame it on the stars. They shine at night. That's not De La Soul.
Great. She went with 8 photographers, and she personally used 2 5D Mark IIIs
She went with 8
in
photographers?
underwater housings, along with her second shooter, photographing with an unprotected 5D Mark III above the water.
Did you say 8 photographers?
8 photographers. And I believe that's her plus 8 photographers, not her included.
Wow.
Wait.
Now, she also had, let me finish this, she also added a DJI Inspire X5 drone to the mix for aerial photography and video, which they piloted from a moving boat around the ceremony in the water. So I think that also counts for probably 2 people for the drone.
Was Shane
her
Hurlbutt
second
there
shooter.
shooting SEAL Team 6 coming
Yeah,
out of
right.
the water
Yeah.
and obliterating all the...
Shooting 5D Mark IIs. That was awesome, though,
Was
to hear
Shane
about.
on that shoot?
To hear about like how he put the plate in front of the CF slot, the metal plate, so if it gets shot, the CF card's still saved, but the camera's shot.
That's
literally.
amazing.
Yeah. So anyway, Sol, the photographer, says the biggest challenge shooting with the housings is that she really couldn't see her images. Decked out in nearly full scuba gear minus the tank, half of the images were taken either submerged and the other half above the water.
So how many boners were there underwater?
She says, in quotes, "I jumped into the water wearing a snorkel, mask, and wetsuit and mermaid cap in the middle of a wedding. When do you ever get to say that you did something like that?"
Well, you just did. How
Yep.
about that?
And she ends with, "Every wedding is special, but we're excited to meet couples who have a crazy wedding dream." And you can see the full video over on the site featuring footage of the ceremony with some photos mixed in. That's footage from the drone, footage from underwater.
they any good?
They were pretty good. I mean, I will say you could tell she shot it like F16 or something, like a Sunny 16, because everything's in focus.
Yeah.
She probably couldn't really see because of the housing, so she's just firing away. But some of them got creative and shot a little shallow, but yeah, they were good.
I wonder what the budget was.
That's what I'm curious. 8 photographers, scuba gear,
As soon as
everything.
I heard that, I was like, man,
Was
what's
Gary
the budget on
Fong
that?
there?
Gary Fong was not there. But yeah, I mean, it looked like a cool wedding.
Was Aquaman there?
Aquaman. But it was cool. Then we've got, speaking of getting married, a photographer photographed his own engagement under an epic aurora. Photographer Dale Sharp.
Car?
Dale Sharp and his now fiancée Carly Russell are both nature and travel photographers.
We are nature and travel photographers.
And they took a trip to the Arctic Circle to photograph the Northern Lights. Now, Sharp set up his camera, telling Carly that they would take a self-portrait together, which they always do. And he suddenly dropped to a knee and proposed under what he says is the most amazing display of color in the aurora that we've ever seen. Now, normally, you would need a hefty exposure time for something like this, but since the image was taken under what they call a waxing gibbous moon, it's like a half moon, he could shoot at short exposures, like 1.5 to 2.5 seconds. So he used the Nikon D810 with the 14 to 24 2.8, one of your favorites, set at ISO 4000 and 2.8. The camera was set to continuous burst, so he hit the trigger as he went down on a knee, and it fired away, leaving him with really only just one usable image because there's a lot of motion blur, he said. But this one really came out great that he did get. And it looks like he also had like a remote flash behind him, which gave him a nice separation highlight. And they've got some amazing images from their trip over on their Instagram page.
Did she say no?
Which I'll link over to the site, over on the site. And she said yes. She said yes.
Good.
Great aurora.
Yeah.
And again, normally you'd have to keep that open for, 10, 15, 30 seconds for an aurora. But he got it in 1.5 to 2.5 seconds, which is great. Yeah. And there's now new drone restrictions that have taken place in Canada. Federal transport.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land.
this one
True patriot love. In
I've never heard this
all
one
thy
before.
Son's command. With glowing hearts we see the rise, the true north, strong and free. And now back to Stephen.
Federal Transport Minister Mark Garneau announced the new rules.
Hello,
which
I'm
are,
Mark Garneau. I have some new rules to tell you about the...
I'm not your buddy, guy.
I'm not your buddy, pal. I'll translate this for you guys.
The new rules are effective immediately.
The new rules are effective immediately.
All right. Recreational users will face a fine of up to $3,000 if drones weighing more than 250 grams are caught flying under the following circumstances.
If you fly a drone that weighs more than 250 grams, you'll be fined a lot of money.
So if they're higher than about 300 feet, you'll get fined. If they're within 75 meters or about 200 feet of buildings, vehicles, vessels, animals, or people,
You'll get fined,
which is pretty crazy. If people more than 500 meters, about 1,600 feet
What if I don't know what a meter is?
1,600 feet. So if they're more than about 1,600 feet away from the pilot, the drone itself, you'll get fined. If they're within about 5 miles or of somewhere aircraft can take off or land, like an airport, obviously, or a forest fire, you'll get fined. That's similar to the U.S. drone restrictions. And your name, address, and phone number must also be marked on the drone itself. They don't say how, but it has to be marked on there.
I like that.
And there's no flying over an emergency response scene. And he says, I'm taking strong measures now before a drone hits an airplane and causes a catastrophic event.
I'm taking strong measures now before a drone hits an airplane and causes a catastrophic event, buddy.
That's the kind of nightmare scenario that keeps me awake at night as your transport minister. And the new restrictions are due to a large increase in the number of reported safety incidents involving drones in the last 3 years. So there were 41 in 2014, 85 in 2015, and then just 148 last year.
And guess what?
So it's more than doubling every year.
None of them were caused by the Lily drone.
Transport Canada notes that anyone who sees someone flying a drone illegally should call 911.
What's the number?
911.
Oh, can we get a 911 Canadian operator, please?
No. But I did hear, though, if they catch you, how you can get away, how they'll take away the fine.
Tim
How's
Hortons?
that?
Sorry.
Just
say sorry.
sorry.
And the new rules do not apply to people flying at sites and events sanctioned by the Model Aeronautics Association of Canada, which is a national model aircraft association.
All right.
And Garneau says, when it comes to safety, I don't think anything is overkill.
When it comes to safety, I don't think anything is overkill, eh?
Some of them are pretty harsh, though, some of those rules.
I'm going to be a Canadian guy that calls into 911. Hello?
Yeah.
Hi, is this 911? Yes, this is 911. What is your emergency?
Oh, hey, good day to you. I'm just drinking my Tim Hortons, and I thought I saw a drone fly by, And the minister of drone flying guy said, we should probably call 911 if we see something.
Okay. What street is it on?
It's on Maple Leaf Way. Can you please send
Maple
somebody
Leaf Way.
really quick? They need to find them. Or should I just go talk to them nicely? Because us Canadians are super nice.
Canadians must hate you.
I love Canada. Sorry.
Phone call.
Yeah, hello there, son bitches. I heard you have some drone problems. I wanted to call in from the DTF, the Donald Trump Drone Foundation. I think that's what I named it before. And if you guys need any tips, be sure to reach out to me. I'm at the Oral Office right now next to my Lord and Savior. Me and Kelly and Conway will be out to lunch if you need me, so don't call me between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. because we'll be eating. Goodbye, Jew.
8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
I'd like to cut in here and apologize to any Canadian that was offended. I'm sorry.
But I mean, a lot of the restrictions are similar to the U.S. They're just a little stricter. Like it's 300
It's not really
feet.
that strict because it's Canadian dollars, so it's like 75 cents, like American.
I just think the biggest thing is that if you're within 250 feet of buildings, vehicles, vessels, animals, or people, you'll get
Wait a
fined.
second. If you fly it near an animal like a cow?
I guess.
Hey, look, there's a drone flying towards Bertha.
how do the animals report you if
Ask Bertha.
Who's Bertha? The
Didn't
cow?
you just call her Bertha?
Didn't you just say that?
Oh,
you
just said
We're
it.
way off track today.
I'm a cow, and I see a drone flying by, eh? It must be a stupid American flying another one of those geese drones.
Sorry.
Meanwhile, the U.S. is banning camera and electronics in cabins of airplanes coming from 8 different countries. Britain has also followed suit, and now in effect, the restriction includes having tablets, laptops, cameras, basically anything larger than a
Vibrators?
smartphone. If it's larger than
What
a
if you have your
smartphone.
vibrator?
Now it excludes medical devices, though.
That's a medical
Could be
device.
I mean,
did you know
could
back in
be.
the 1800s, late 1800s, and they started getting electrical devices where women would go to the doctor?
Where do you read these random facts?
It was probably the history of sex on the...
Is it HBO
On the
or-
History Channel.
Oh, okay.
No, the History Channel did like the history of sex.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things in the late 1800s is that women would go to the doctors to have orgasms. Like that was considered medical release.
That's funny.
Yeah. That's science. Sorry.
That's
science.
Sorry.
So,
Speaking of sorry, I met these 2 YouTube people. They're called the Sorry Girls.
Sorry.
If you look them up on YouTube, they have a bigger following than I do because they're
Sorry.
girls.
crushed it.
And they're Canadian. No, but I thought they were called the Sorority Girls when I misread it, and I was like, "I'm going to
so
meet the
bad with
sorority."
that.
Yeah, I read, "Oh, the Sorority Girls would be there." So I
God, it's a sorority girl.
I'm like, I thought you were. I'm like, "Are you one of the sorority girls?" She's like, "No, we're the sorority."
Zima?
He's got his leisure suit on with like a red cup, frat party style.
She's
Let's
like-
go party.
We're actually called the Sorry Girls.
That's funny.
Sorry.
So anyway, these
Pop up a picture of the Sorry Girls.
Sorry.
They're restricted for flights taking off from 10 specific airports, and the banned countries include Egypt, Jordan, Kuwait, Morocco, Qatar, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. And overall, the ban will affect 9 airlines that operate roughly 50 flights per day into the U.S.
Wow.
Those include Egypt Air, Emirates Airline,
Which is big.
Is it all coming
Etihad.
or going?
Etihad Airways, Kuwait Airways, Qatar Airways. I think it's just coming. Royal Air Maroc,
Well, yeah, because we don't care if the plane flies to their country, Todd.
Royal Jordanian Airlines, Saudi Arabian Airlines, and Turkish Airlines. And U.S. officials, now no American Airlines, U.S. officials say this is a direct response to intelligence that terrorists are continuing to work on ways to target commercial airlines by quote-unquote smuggling explosives in portable electronic devices in a manner that's hard to detect.
I watched that Pablo Escobar show on Netflix.
I gotta watch that. Is it
right?
good?
It's very.
It's like a documentary?
no, it's not a
It's
documentary.
Medellin.
It's incredible.
Johnny Chase.
But there's a scene in the movie in there where they actually blew up planes. That's what he'd like to do. One was in a tape recorder. It's just like it's not anything new. The people have tried
no,
to
of
smuggle
course
it in
not.
their underwear, their shoes. That fucking asshole shoe bomber
bomber, yeah.
asshole who they beat the shit out of, trying to light his shoe on fire.
I'm surprised they don't stop you more often with your badonkadonk. See what you're smuggling.
Way too big. You have something hidden
Hold
in
on,
there.
sir. There's no way you should have a badonkadonk like that.
We need to rip
what
that
are you
wide
smuggling
open.
in your jeans?
You've been there when they've patted my ass down with both hands.
While Jared's like smiling.
I know.
Lafloof.
Sorry.
Man, the Canadians are going to hate us today.
So again, though, they do say this is a direct response to specific intelligence that they're getting.
Yeah, whatever. They're
And-
full of shit. It's just another part of their Muslim ban that they're just trying to push through.
Now, passengers, and Britain did follow suit. Now, passengers can still bring their electronics with them. They'll just have to be stowed away underneath the plane with checked baggage.
Are they going to charge us extra?
And that's a good question.
Yeah.
This ban also applies to American passengers, not just anyone else, and the restrictions will last until October 14th, 2017, as of now. Who knows if that'll be
No,
extended?
they're never gonna take it away once they
This is what they're
institute it.
saying is that
And
it's still October 14th.
So you have to take into consideration now, am I going to get a Pelican? Am I going to put all my gear
Yeah.
in a Pelican?
Yep.
Are they going to open up my goddamn Pelican, which they're absolutely going to use their, oh, well, you could be smuggling a device in here.
And those big 1650 Pelicans are expensive.
They're already 30 pounds
And heavy,
without,
yeah.
without being loaded.
Yeah.
So now
And you gotta put all the memory
They're
foam
going
in
to
it.
charge you more money to do that.
Yeah.
I flew LL and I took my camera gear with me, and I took
Did
my
you?
camera gear. So if anybody, you guys never flown LL. LL is they pride themselves in security, not so much the comfort.
This is flying out of Israel?
Well, to and from Israel.
Okay.
Into New York
Gotcha.
or Newark. LL is they pride themselves on security, and the amenities are pretty shitty on the plane, but that's because they don't give a shit.
Sorry.
So much about that. But they, I remember flying there with all of my gear without a problem. Also, it's a fact that they have individual compartments under the plane for luggage, that if a bomb goes off, they have these bomb-proof compartments that the American airline people
the bomb
can
went off,
purchase.
you're going down anyway.
No, you're not going off. It contains it inside the container.
Oh, I thought you meant they're just protecting the luggage part, like certain
No.
luggage.
They're these.
I see what
there
you're
are those
saying.
containers that slide in.
Yeah.
But each one of those is bomb-proof.
Really?
I've seen the tests of it.
Wow.
And the only reason they don't do it here in the United States is because of obviously price would go up.
Sure, yeah.
But if you've ever taken LL, they interrogate each one of you before you get on the plane. They also don't tell you what time the plane is taking off.
Huh.
So they don't tell you what time it's taking off. They just give you a time span of when you need to be there, and then they interview each and every one of you in line.
Wow.
They have agents that you walk in front of them. They look you up and down. They check everything. They look at you. Unfortunately, my passport photo had my afro in it, and then my hair was down when I flew. And I'm like, how'd you know it was me? He's like, your nose. I'm like, oh. And then they just ask you these questions like, do you have family there? I'm like, I do. I have an uncle there.
Do you?
Where's he live? I'm like, honestly, I couldn't tell you because I don't know him very well.
Whose side? Your mom's?
It was, yeah, my mom's. It was Lil's brother.
Oh.
He must still be alive.
So
He's
your great
old.
uncle, right?
No, Lil was my grandmother.
And it was her brother.
Yeah, he's a.
Great uncle.
Great uncle.
Yeah.
Is that how they call them, great uncles?
Your uncle would be your mom's brother.
What about my monkey's brother?
That's Dan.
All right. Anyway, my story's done. Dan, Steven, you want to move on?
So moving forward, we got Google. They have a new open source JPEG encoder called Gwetsley.
Wait. In Canada, is it Google.eh?
Yes. Sorry.
Oh man. So anyway, Google again
I
has
should just
a new
do the thumbnail right now with the
Sorry.
Canadian
Yeah.
flag in the background.
terrible. Losing a bunch of subscribers in this video. New open source JPEG encoder. It's called Gwetsley, Guetzli. It's a Swiss German word for cookie.
Was it made by Pied Piper though?
Is it gluten free?
It's made by Hooli, I think. So they say
bits.
this decreases the file size by 35% without degrading quality. It's pretty much Pied Piper. Now, this is not a new file format. It still reads as a normal JPEG image. It's just a new encoder, new
cool.
algorithm. So their new algorithm is better at figuring out which colors to keep and which to toss during the quantization portion of JPEG compression, which results in nearly zero visual loss of data. I guess just visual.
It's just not raw.
Visual loss of data. Yeah. Google says it is our hope that webmasters and graphic designers will find Gwetsley useful and apply it to their photographic content, making users' experience smoother on image-heavy websites in addition to reducing load times and bandwidth costs for mobile users.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
They also said that the only difference between a regular JPEG and this in terms of speed is that it actually takes longer to compress one of these Quetzalcoatl things to compress it when you save it.
That's what it said, yeah.
But the cost savings benefit in terms of storage and speed is worth that time.
The speed, I think, is the biggest factor here for web pages.
Storage. If they can cut down their storage costs by 30% in storing on hard drives, not only do they have to house less on hard drives, they don't have to push it through the internet, so the bandwidth.
Yeah.
It's insane if they can compress anything by 30% and see no perceived loss quality.
Now, I will say they posted a couple sample images on the Google blog, and you can still kind of tell when zoomed in that there is a difference. But when you're just pixel peeping and stuff like that, if you're just viewing something online for a web page,
I mean, for Todd,
who
it's going to be a
cares?
big deal when
That's
they get
how
it
I
on the
shoot.
Pornhub.
I shoot in the compressed JPEG. What my T-shirt says.
Ultra compressed JPEG.
I shoot ultra compressed JPEG.
JPEG fine, yeah. So I will say, like, there's not as much as like a gradient as a normal JPEG has. It's definitely more blocky. The U.S. Supreme Court has opened up a new position for a full-time photographer. The job listing over at usajobs.gov states that all U.S. citizens can apply and that the job has an annual earning salary of $54,000 up to $86,000.
Which means if you live in Canada, no need to apply right now. Eh?
No, sorry.
Sorry.
Other prereqs.
Hashtag Dan. Hashtag sorry.
You also need a bachelor's degree in photography or 4 years experience
I'm glad
in general.
they put that on there because you don't need a bachelor's
Exactly.
in fucking photography.
Now, if you had a bachelor's, you probably get paid a little more, I bet, than someone that didn't have it.
Yeah, I got real life experience.
Real life. You also have to have the ability to shoot Nikon and Hasselblad cameras. You need to know about artificial lighting. You must be proficient with MS Word, Access, Excel,
Word?
MS Word.
What the hell is MS Word?
Microsoft
You mean
Word.
Word?
Microsoft Word.
Oh, Word.
MS Word.
Word.
You
Adobe,
also know how to encode in BASIC.
Adobe Creative Suite, and other computer programs that they use.
So in essence, this is a job. If you're a U.S. citizen, it's totally for you.
Yep. And you must be a people person altogether. They say you have to be able to work with visiting dignitaries.
What if I
to the
hate
general
Clarence
public?
Thomas? Am I still eligible for this job?
Probably not.
You might not get clearance on Clarence.
I might not get clearance on Clarence?
Sorry.
Sorry.
And the job description lists that you will be documenting the continuing history of the Supreme Court as an institution, as well as the people who work at the court, the architecture of the Supreme Court building, and the historic objects and artwork in the court's collection.
So you get to take pictures of people sleeping.
First off, this is an incredible opportunity
Yes.
for
It's great.
anybody.
It is.
If you have nothing to lose, this is a job that you should all apply for if you're a U.S. citizen. Why not? You have nothing to lose. This is an unbelievable opportunity to work in one of the most prestigious halls in all of our land for now.
Now, you don't get paid as much as the Ansel Adams job that the National Park Service was doing. That was like $100,000 they were offering up to.
Well, that one you have to go around places.
Yes,
you have to
you're
shoot
more of a
in
travel
one place.
photographer. This is more of a
Right?
dedicated
Yeah.
job in D.C.
You could live in D.C. and
Yeah.
shoot there. And
Yeah, it's nice.
It's pretty cool, though.
And
Yeah.
it goes on to read, the photographer must keep informed about the latest equipment and techniques for creating,
Jesus Christ.
storing, and processing images
God.
in digital as well as traditional formats.
It's almost like they're putting this out in the 1980s in the hopes that a photographer who knows nothing will be. It's just like such basic requirements that any 16-year-old or 13-year-old that has been shooting since they were 10 for 3 years would be eligible for this job.
Now, the National Park Service, though, they're still shooting film.
I got that wrong. Sorry. If they were 10 and
Sorry.
now they're 13, they don't have 4 years of experience or a bachelor's. So between 10 and 14. Sorry.
But like I said, the Ansel Adams job, you're shooting large format film.
Which is awesome.
They're trying to switch to digital by the end of the year. This one, you are shooting digital, and they did say traditional formats. I assume that's film too.
Nice.
And you can see the full listing over on the site if you're interested and you live in the D.C. area. And you have only until March 27th to apply.
Oh, wow.
Which by the time this comes out, it's Sunday or Monday night.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So if this is after Monday,
Then
you're
sorry.
SOL. Olympus has officially killed off its 4/3 lenses. The camera manufacturer says it will focus mainly on its micro 4/3 lineup from now on. Now, it's been 6 years since Olympus has done anything with its 4/3 system, so new photographers may wonder what exactly that is. However, the discontinuation was just made official via Olympus's latest catalog offering of their lenses.
They still print catalogs? No wonder why
Yep.
they don't sell anything.
Now, I think it was in PDF form, though, the one I saw. So
It's not
I'm not
Sears
sure if it's
Roebuck?
actually in print still. Yeah. Olympus was the largest producer, though, of 4/3 mount lenses, which they called
And the
Zyko or
only
Zuko Digital.
producer.
I think Panasonic also made stuff. No, Eastman Kodak teamed up with them.
Who?
That's it. Eastman Kodak.
What's that?
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
Midwest Photo, they were robbed of hundreds of cameras and lenses this past week. Located in Columbus, Ohio, the store was broken into on March 15th by way of cutting a hole through the roof and ceiling. The perps then slid down a pole and entered the storage area, stealing tons and tons of expensive gear by big-name manufacturers. Midwest Photo says, in quotes, "This break-in appears to have been premeditated and carried out by experienced individuals who they say is a group of 5 people with 2 vehicles. Police and local detectives are involved as this break-in is potentially a part of a larger crime wave going throughout the Midwest at this specific time."
Wait, was Vin Diesel involved?
No, I think it had to do with Canadians.
Midwest Photo also posted some surveillance frames of the perpetrators as well. They are now in the process of gathering the serial numbers of the missing items and using scraping software to scour the web in hopes that items show up for sale somewhere else online.
I reached out to them to ask for the list of their...
To add it to My Gear Vault.
Yeah, to add it to the My Gear Vault stolen database.
That's great.
So if anybody tries to enter it into My Gear Vault, it will be flagged, and then we can get down to them.
That's great.
Let them know what's up. They sent us over some pictures that of the alleged. I'm going to say alleged. We don't know.
They don't know either.
They don't know. They think
they found
these people.
They scouted
allegedly,
the area out beforehand, walked in the store, checked out where the expensive stuff is.
Actually, I think they probably matched the images to the surveillance cameras in the dark to the images during the day.
You think they're wearing the same clothes, you're saying?
No, they could
I
see
hope
it in
so.
the face.
Oh.
It looked like their face was pretty well covered, though.
I don't know. They're just stupid. I mean,
Yeah.
So anyway, I reached out to them to let them know that they should put all their stuff into My Gear Vault for the future.
Yeah.
But also have all of their... Yeah, I mean, they could do that.
That would be hard to track in My Gear Vault because you're selling items, too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Like, how would you... Yeah, that would be a little
They just
tough.
need some kind of database.
Yeah.
Which, isn't easy when you're always rolling stuff out. But if you have a... No, that's not easy because... It's not easy because they send you... I know from Allen's, it's like they send you a box of 50 lenses and you can't just scan... Well, there's serial numbers on the boxes.
Are they? I thought it was on the...
No, there are serial numbers on the Nikon boxes. Let me check
Not
out
on
my
that Nikon.
Nikon lens mug.
Nikan?
Nikon. Nope. No
serial numbers on the
serial
cups?
numbers on that. But
There's a Tamron box right there.
there's serial numbers on the outside. Hold on.
Yeah? Check it out.
It's right here.
Whoops.
It's right there at the top.
At the top. That's not just a barcode. That's an actual serial number.
I think, the number is 347. That's the number 347 is the number
okay.
of the lens.
Gotcha.
Because I remember looking at that on the lens. And that's there. So I wonder if they could scan each barcode and then see it or not.
I'm sure they
I'm
can
sure
have
when
some
they
kind of
ship
system.
it, they have serial numbers for everything they ship.
That's true. Yeah, in the invoice, there's got to
They
be
do.
something where
I'm
it's
sure
just all
that's what
listed.
they do. Yeah, that's how they track it.
Now, they wouldn't release the actual dollar amount of the equipment stolen.
A lot.
I'm sure it was a lot, yeah.
If they used the My Gear Vault app, they would have known.
There you go. Now, if anyone has information regarding the burglary, they urge you to contact the Columbus Division of Police or email them at moishe@mpex.com.
Spell that, please.
MOISHE at MPEX.com.
Yeah, if you know anything, get in touch with them.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, it does suck. And then another burglary where this time $200,000 worth of cinema lenses were taken from Vaydra Optics.
Let me just
in
cut in
California.
here. My Gear Vault had nothing to do with the stealing of any of this equipment. Nothing.
200 of their popular mini prime cinema lenses, which is most of their inventory, was stolen recently. The company writes in quotes, "We are offering a reward for any information leading to the return of Vaydra mini prime lenses from our inventory. Please share and tell your friends. Vaydra lenses will be available again, but it may take some time to fill orders, so we appreciate everyone's help and patience while we recover from this significant loss.
That is
Thanks for your
terrible.
help
That sucks.
in keeping our dream alive."
I hate thieves.
And they add to reach out to them if you have any information at info@vaydra.com if you have any information again about the break-in.
I hate assholes.
Yeah,
Make
Sorry.
your own money, dicks.
it's a shame.
Sorry.
This next story now, this basically goes on to say how you talk to your client in the public. So we have a photographer named Desiree Genera. She went public with her issues with her client.
How you like that? Catch me outside.
Here's the general story.
sorry.
One of her clients, Katrina Ortiz, initially wrote a positive review about her experience with Desiree after receiving one of her photos back from her portrait session that day, just, a preview, shortly after Desiree posted that her images would be done on March 14th to the client, so 2 weeks prior to her initial deadline. Now, at 9 p.m. on March 14th, Katrina checked in and basically asked Desiree if her order is almost complete as it's getting late, and that was the deadline they initially agreed upon. She allegedly texted or messaged, I think through Messenger on Facebook, Desiree asking when the other images will be done. Now, here's the actual screenshot that I actually printed out.
Oh, nice.
And it's interesting. She spells just like you, actually. Terrible.
Sorry.
So Katrina says, just staying updated. Were you still going to have the pictures ready tonight? And then Desiree responds with 4 question marks. I told you they would be done today early, but today isn't over and I don't edit during the day, question mark.
I'm a vampire.
This here just interrupts my editing.
Oh, shut up.
I'll let you know when they are. Yeah, this 2-second conversation interrupts her editing.
Why are you on Facebook then looking?
Touche.
Turn off all the shit if you don't want a distraction, allegedly.
Yep. And she says, I'll let you know when they are ready. And now it's looking like the 4-week turnaround because too many interruptions take me away from editing like this.
Oh.
Not my kids that are yelling at me on my video.
And Katrina responded, yes, you did tell me today. I was double checking since it is getting late. I just wanted to see if I would be able to order before I go to bed. Just
she didn't say
excited
it in a bad way.
to see them. No, she was just asking because she did tell her that was the initial deadline.
Right.
So then she put out a video.
Yeah, she put out a video on Facebook.
She went live on Facebook.
She went live on Facebook to not call out this client by name, but to call out this client.
Basically reading word for word this message. And clearly her client is a fan of her page, and she's checking her page probably daily to see previews or pictures.
Where are the pictures?
From the session.
Of course.
Well,
and she sees this live feed.
She didn't do, there's certain ways to handle people when it comes to business.
Yep.
And
You should definitely yell at them all the time, right, Jared?
yes, one of the things you don't do is go live right after an issue happens and put it out into the world. Like, I can't sit there and be like, I hated working with today's client and not give their name. Like,
And
just
clearly
not
you
give their
just
name,
worked with one
but you
client
just worked
that
with a
day.
client.
Yeah.
They know who it is. It's like you don't do stuff like that. And she went even further and was like, everybody knows that I highly touch up and edit all my pictures. That is a big thing that I do.
She talked about the wig thing.
And then she's like, so if you want me to deliver them to you, and I'm editorializing here, if you want me to deliver them to you with all your stretch marks and pimples and all this stuff, I'll be more than happy to do that.
She said that?
Yeah.
Well, and then she specifically brought up that she touched up the wig that the girl had, and I believe she was referring to the preview picture that she sent her. And she basically said, your wig looked terrible and blah, 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 and I had to touch all that up to make it look like it was
Good
your real
luck
hair.
on
And
future clients.
But then she was like,
Good
she
luck.
kept posting more on
And then
her
she was
page
like,
and like saying, this is good news. Like, look at all this traffic I'm getting. All news is good news.
The best is her kid in the background.
Well, she's making this video about this, like yelling at this woman, and then you hear a kid at the door going, "Mommy,
Can I come
Get
in?
back in the closet.
Shut the hell up!
She's
Shut
just,
the hell
she was
up.
just like, I'm on the phone.
Dan, get back in your hole.
No, I'm working. It's like, really?
And then she's like, catch me outside. How about that?
Then she said, sorry.
Sorry.
Not sorry.
I don't know the end of the story. If anybody else knows more than that, what happened here?
I think
we
she
just-
then put up like printed T-shirts and stuff about the whole thing. I mean, I think she tried to capitalize on it, but yeah, I just wanted to bring up the whole point about
The point is,
the client and not going public with it.
you can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, in inner circles,
a relationship you need to-
talk to people. That's one thing where you talk about jobs, but you don't. Minutes after somebody does something, call them out publicly in a forum that they're going to see and think you're going to get away with it. And if you're talking about a client like that and I see that on your page, do you think I want to hire you? Especially with your kids yelling in the background behind the closed door and you not even paying attention to your kids?
Well, I'd be afraid to even ask you, like, how are my pictures going? How do I know if you're going to do a rant about it? That's terrible,
Yeah,
terrible
that's
business.
It
bad.
looks terrible with
Terrible
future clients.
business.
And
It's almost like, yeah.
When I was in the record business, I had a boss of mine. He's like, never talk bad about anybody you work with.
Yeah.
He's like, one time,
You never
I
know.
was on the train coming back from a meeting in New York, and I was talking to my buddy on the train, talking shit about somebody else. Had this deal done. Somebody in that train car overheard my conversation,
Wow.
called the guy. Deal got killed.
What are the odds of that?
But you just never. And I've always told people that I was like, if you want to talk shit between you and I, make sure it's just you and I.
And word spreads
'Cause you
fast in
never
the
know,
industry,
let
man.
alone Facebook Live.
Whether that's photography, video, records, it doesn't matter.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
It spreads fast, yeah. Oh, and then we also have Canon Rumors is reporting that C-Log is coming to the Canon 5D Mark IV. This is huge. This is big news. They're reporting that it's confirmed.
Well,
from an inside source.
I don't. So let me just.
It's a confirmed rumor.
Let me talk about that.
Pretty much, yeah.
The only reason we're talking about this is because Steven and Todd think it's huge to talk about the C-Log, which it is huge. If
It's
that
huge
does,
like this.
If that does come to the 5D Mark IV. But I just want to put this out there that anybody that reads a rumor site, that doesn't make you an expert, because I see so many times that people follow on rumor sites and then call it fact. And a lot of times the rumor sites may get something right.
It's fake news.
But they don't get a lot of it right. And you see that a lot with new lenses. Now, if it comes out probably 6 hours prior
Then it's
to a
probably
launch,
right.
then it's probably right, because at that point it's probably leaked already. That just is what it is. But please understand that if you read something on a rumor site, that doesn't make it a fact.
Yep.
It's not a fact until it's what? A fact.
A fact.
Until it's actually
Until Donald
legit.
Trump
And I'm
tweets it.
simply reporting that they confirmed it. Canon Rumors confirmed it.
Okay,
That's it. It's
right.
not fact.
But,
That's all
but
I'm
with
saying.
that being said,
Let's just talk about the possibility of this coming.
that would be huge for that camera.
This is something that 5D users have wanted since the Mark II. And it will be revolutionary.
Not for Todd, because Todd wants all the corrections done in
I
camera.
mean-
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm never going to use it, but
Todd will never shoot log, but it's an answer to those cameras that are now all shooting log. Everyone from Sony to Fuji to Panasonic,
Yep.
they all have their own form of log, and it's all implemented internally in cameras. Canon's finally got to respond. I mean, Nikon's also got their flat profile. It's not considered
all
a
the
log
leverage,
format. but
so all the latitude I have with red, I know I talk a lot of shit, but all that latitude I have with
post.
the red files in post, is
dynamic
just-
range, all of it.
it's unbelievable. Like how much more you can pull out of a shot or enrich the shot. I mean, I guess it's basically what you guys do with raw files at
Yes,
that
it
point,
is.
which
It
is
is.
very
It's exactly
similar
what we
to
do.
that.
Yeah.
So if they do that with this camera, it's going to be a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's huge for post-processing. It's probably really only worth it if you're shooting the 4K mode where you have the 422 instead of the ultra-compressed 420
Is that going to make the file larger, or it's just going to make it flatter?
It should just be flatter. It shouldn't make the file larger, I don't believe.
You don't think there'll be more data, a little bit more data?
No, I don't know. I really don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah. I feel like there'd be a little more data, but I don't know.
Now, Canon Rumors is reporting that the new feature might not be as simple as a firmware update either, but we don't know if it's going to be a separate paid thing or if it's going to be a firmware update or when it's going to be announced. They're saying it could possibly be announced at NAB, which is right around the corner, about a month away. We'll see. Again, take it with a grain of salt.
If I had to guess, I can't see it being a send your camera in to be something done to it.
So-
Wouldn't it just be a firmware thing?
Canon has never done that in the past. They've never done send it in, we'll add this firmware update. Certain companies do. I think Sony does that for certain paid updates.
Well, the only thing that they did do is when they updated the dual pixel AF in the C300 or something, you could send it in to get a dual pixel CF upgrade.
Well, the high-end cinema cameras I get sending in for certain updates. Yeah, it's not as simple
The
as
Reds
like a,
do that. You can always upgrade the brain.
Well, Reds,
Well,
they
you can
literally
change your
take the
mounts
sensor
and
out.
everything. Yeah, you can update the
you know.
sensor.
So there is a model for that,
Yeah.
but not at that price point.
Yeah. And no word also on whether or not the 1DX Mark II will be updated with this release. Again, if it even is a possible release. Now, what I want is just a different codec. Give me C-Log and then give me H.265 or something else.
What do the
Yeah.
Canadians get?
H2 sorry.
H.A.
Was that it for news?
That's pretty much it for news, yeah.
All right. This news has been brought to you by the
Sorry.
Tourism Institute of Canada. If you're looking to travel to Canada, go to canada.org.ca.eh.
Sorry.
And you can get all of your news. Go visit Canada, especially Toronto and Nova Scotia and Quebec. But don't speak English in Quebec because they'll yell at you because you don't speak French.
Sorry.
And just say sorry all the time, and they'll love you even more. Go up to a Mountie and be like, sorry, officer.
Blame
Sorry,
Canada.
Mountie. All right, so what's next? Gears of the week?
Gears of the week.
All right, I'm going to pick mine up. Can you pick yours up?
Ooh.
Uh-oh. This sounds good.
Check out my guns.
Good Lord, look at those things.
Man, they are pretty heavy.
So here it is.
Do you want to play a game?
So this right here is the Lacey, not the Lacey.
We confirmed with them.
In America, it's Lacey.
We confirmed with them over the phone, though, when they told us all about these, that it is Lacey.
Whatever they decide to call it. But
Whatever.
this is the 12 big and the 6 big. The 6 big has 6 hard drives. The 12 big has 12 hard
Has 12.
drives.
Oh.
In this one, you can put 10 terabyte hard drives from Seagate in here. They make the 10 terabyte drives, and they are, what do they call those drives? Network drives?
NAS
Hold on.
drives, yep.
Let me, oh, there it is.
Because they don't break it.
They are the enterprise capacity. This is the 6 terabyte, not the 12, the 10 terabytes. But anyway,
Doesn't this one have the 10?
no, none of them have the 10. So this one currently has 72 terabytes of storage in here. Anyway, I'm going to remove it so I can talk and you guys can see me. But this one, if you got it fully loaded with 120 terabytes, would be $14,000.
Which
US.
I don't think is that much
Not for
storage
120
these
terabytes.
days.
Not for that much
Thunderbolt.
storage.
Talk about that. Thunderbolt
Oh.
3.0.
Thunderbolt 3.0. Theoretically, 40 gigabytes per second in and out. I mean, that's pretty insane. Yeah, 2 ports on the back in the form of USB-C. It also has a USB 3.1 port as well if you want to just connect it to a slower slot. Yeah. Now, they also said you can obviously daisy chain it like any other Thunderbolt
Does it
port.
come with? Do they come with any sort of RAID software or anything like
Yep,
that?
they have their own software,
software?
which you can set up a RAID.
Interesting.
And if you are doing Thunderbolt 3, they said you can do full like RAID 6 and basically not really slow down your speeds at all. Like you're taking a 10% hit, I think you said, on transfer speeds. So that's great because my biggest thing about RAID is you really crush your transfer speeds
Crushed it.
and your read and write speeds. Yeah.
And on the other side, if we don't actually have a Thunderbolt 3 compatible machine right now,
Yeah.
So we will get half the speed with Thunderbolt 2 than the adapter that I bought from Apple that are $29. You get the dongle, whatever. You do that. That's Gear of the Week. They sent us out these to play with. We get to keep the big 12. They sent us the 612. Sorry, the 612. The 6 big. This is more for somebody that does some video, has photos to store, wants to edit off of this as well as back up all their stuff. You have the reliability of what Lacey has done for a ton of years, especially with the rugged drives.
We use their rugged drives all the time.
And then they got bought by Seagate, so you've got the backing of Seagate in there as well.
That's impressive.
So you're in a couple of $1,000s for a model like this. You can get up to 60 terabytes in this bad boy. This one has
last you forever.
These are 8 terabyte drives in here. They're 6 times 8. This has 48 terabytes in it right now.
As a photographer,
like $3,200.
You're never updating again after this. Now, as a videographer, you could easily upgrade after
video
shooting 4K.
is always
uncompressed.
it never ends.
Yeah.
It never ends.
Yep, never.
And so that's it. So for more information, you can look up Lacey's website. It's on the screen right now. Go to their site. Look up the 12 big. Look up the 6 big. Let us know which one you would want. I mean, why wouldn't you want the 12 big? But which one could you
go big or go
hope
home
to have? And that's it. That is Gears of the Week. Let's get into flying solo.
Let's do it.
Dave.
Put your seats in the upright position and keep your opinions to yourself, because we're flying solo.
And be sure to check all of your camera gear that's larger than a phone, because you're not allowed to fly with it into this country. First question is a video question from Steve Prue. Murmur.
That's my job. You stop that.
Pam, 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 pam.
Hi, this is Sydney Devereaux. This question is from Steve, TM Ronan on Instagram. Hey y'all, this question is for Todd, but can anyone jump in? Is it better to just let the camera roll when shooting non-narrative footage, pretty girl or B-roll, and chop it up later than to try to get takes in camera? Also, what's the best workflow for pulling clips after shooting before assembling your sequence? All of this pertains to non-narrative short-form video, pretty girl, travel, etc. Thanks, and have a great day.
Todd, you okay? Todd's stuck, but I just want to say thank you for holding up a microphone and having audio come in from the camera.
Yeah, that
And
mic
proper
sounded
headroom.
great.
We actually emailed him after, and he told us what happened. There was an issue with.
Did Dan edit for him?
I think he just exported just
No,
the
Dan
in-camera
didn't
audio
edit
track
because
and-
the lips were at least in sync.
Well, they obviously didn't sync from the microphone. That's what I'm saying.
Well, no, if Dan did it, she wouldn't have been talking, but there would have been thoughts coming out of her head.
So they asked to shoot all at one time or to shoot multiple clips. I would definitely shoot the clips, stop and start. Don't shoot it as one big giant long clip because then you have to waste all the time skimming through it all, and it takes forever to find stuff.
And then they were asking about the workflow of how you import footage and stuff like that.
I mean, just import all the clips, and most editing programs now, you can look and see like at least a thumbnail of what that shot is. I used to back in the day. I would go through and I would relabel everything like what the shot was. But nowadays, everything's so visual that you can see every single clip. So, I mean, if anything, I organize them by scene or by like, B-roll in one bin and the talking head in another bin,
Yeah.
Oh,
or
And
it's
do you dump footage as you're shooting, or do you wait till you're completely done the shoot? Because it seemed like that's what he was going
at the end of the day.
Yeah,
I
I'm the
would do it.
same.
I mean, unless I need the card again.
Of
if you
course.
only have so many cards,
Or if
might
you have
just dump
downtime,
and-
too.
If you have downtime as well, yeah. I
Yeah.
just think sometimes it gets a little confusing if you start to dump cards
Yeah.
at certain times.
I'd rather wait.
I'd rather do it all at
everything.
once.
I hate to format a card during a shooting day.
Me too.
Just because you just
Never know.
I
Until you bring
I
it
want the
back
backup.
home
You could-
on
Exactly.
the desktop.
You could pull a card, dump it, leave it to the side, and do the same thing with a new card.
If you have the cards.
Yeah,
for
if you have
sure.
the cards.
Yeah,
But you
'cause-
you want to pick one way.
Yep.
Because if you start doing it half one way, half another, and then cards
Confuse
get
yourself, you format the
confused,
wrong
and then-
card.
yeah, so
What we do here, at least what I do for FroKnowsPhoto, is I make sure that I always have the backup memory card with the media still on it if the project is still being edited. And then once it's fully finished editing, format that card, and
Yep.
that's my extra backup
Yep.
is that memory card.
what I generally do, I don't have if you don't have that many cards to be
Of
able to like,
course.
hold off on
Yeah.
that, I'll back up to 2 different hard drives.
Or that. Yep. Well, I
So-
do that too. That's
so
like
you're
my third
basically-
backup.
Yeah, so you have 3 copies then
Exactly.
at that point.
Yeah.
But
And then we got the 12 big.
yeah, you should always duplicate your stuff and
Yep.
back up. Probably at the end of the day, I'd recommend.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Alex Borland. Hey, Fro and company. Bit of an interesting dilemma here. My friend and I co-own a website. Last year, we worked under a parent site. Within the past month or so, we decided to break off and be on our own. I also took out some of the stuff because he got long-winded. The owners of our parent site have some pull in the industry, enough to where they could probably keep us off of credential lists. We have a strange feeling that this might happen,
Wow.
so they can prove they're better. If it were you getting held off of the credentials list, how would all of you guys react to this?
Is that Kai and Locke?
I don't think so, but if I had to guess, this would be a music website. If I had to guess, that's what they're talking about. In all honesty, if you left and they have pull, this is business. They want to crush you.
Yeah.
If you didn't leave on great
Competition
terms,
now.
you're now competition. You don't work for them anymore. So why would they not? I mean, if you did something to cause them to, you decided to leave and they have pull, then you just have to deal with the consequences and the repercussions of that. You have to try to make your own way and then talk to whoever you need to talk to make sure that you are not being blacklisted. But if they use their muscle to keep you out, that's business.
And a lot of places will have non-compete clauses in their contract or something where you can't go and legally make your own website of the same type of, whatever.
So
if
that's
it's music, news, or...
That's the harsh answer I have for you because that's the truth. Once you're out, that's your competition. I want to bury you.
Yep.
Next question is from Jonathan Walters.
Hey Todd, hey Steven, hey Jared. My name is Jonathan from Southern Illinois, and today I wanted to ask Jared a question about his conversation with Gary Vee the other day. It was really neat seeing him on the Gary Vaynerchuk show, and I am curious of what weight do you take the advice whenever somebody like Gary Vaynerchuk says keep plugging away, plugging away, plugging away, when your voice on it said, I don't want to just keep shoving out a whole bunch of content, and I want to step back and make higher quality content. Now, this was apparent in your videos, in your episodes that you did of FroKnowsPhoto, the TV episodes, where you went out to the Grand Canyon and stuff like that, that you wanted to slow things down and make just really, really high quality content. But at what point do you say, well, Gary Vee says make a whole bunch of videos. My mind says, make less with just the higher quality. When do you decide what to do on something like that? My other question is, and besides Gary Vaynerchuk, what other inspirational role models do you look to online that your viewers might be able to follow as well to get the motivation and help them build up their brands? I hope these questions get answered, and thank you so much.
Now, Jonathan did a great job asking a question. He's
Hey, Jonathan.
animated.
Hey.
He's animated. He asked his question succinctly, and he got his point across. So anybody doesn't know, I followed Gary Vee since before I started FroKnowsPhoto, and he's been a big part in being a sounding board through the past 7-ish years as I've done things. Now, he has the Ask Gary Vee show, which is something that you can call into, and he puts out a lot of content. I wasn't inquiring... So I was asking... The question I asked was, is there ever a thing as putting out too much content? And I'm just trying to... I just wanted to hear an answer. I wanted to hear what his thoughts were, because he puts out a ton of content. I know that I put out a lot of content
than anyone I know.
Yeah, he does. And his answer was, well, you can check out the episode of, well, I'm not sure what episode it was, but we'll figure that out for you.
It was the latest one, yeah.
He basically said, well, yes, there is, depending on the platform that you're putting it out on, because certain platforms have different weight for things that you're doing. I wasn't asking because I'm tired of putting out too much content, and I don't just want to focus on one major staple of content and put nothing else out. I built this on putting out a lot of content. But the dilemma happens in my mind is that the everything shifts. It's been almost 7 years of doing this. What worked 7 years ago may not work today in the same fashion. I can put out specific videos like real-world reviews and 5-minute portraits, and we see that those skyrocket.
Huge.
We have other ideas for other videos that we haven't talked about yet that I think are going to do well, which will change up the type of content that comes out slightly, but not supersede anything that we already have. It may block out some of the other stuff that doesn't get a lot of views. So it's a fine line and a fine dance between what you put. It's a fine line. I asked the question. I liked what his answers were. He had a lot of good feedback to give. One of the things was collaborations with people outside of the photo community on YouTube.
I thought that was a good point.
Which is sort of similar to what the personal project is
yeah.
that I started
It is.
a couple weeks before this question. So that's one thing.
I like how he noted on vloggers specifically, though.
I did. I liked how he did that.
Everything,
So
yeah.
That may be something... Well, with Weatherford, when I was with Weatherford was doing... I'm in his vlog because...
He released a vlog with you
He
in
released
it.
a vlog, and I'm in it
Oh.
because he's like, hey, Fro's with me.
This is Facebook, YouTube.
It was YouTube and Facebook, yeah, and
Okay.
Snapchat and all those. So
That's
you
perfect.
see me in it. Or
It's a
when
great
I
example.
went up and talked to Gary in his office,
Yeah.
he Snapchatted me and stuff like that. So it's good advice. I just have to figure out what angle to go there. But for whatever reason, I didn't say, oh, I'm actually doing that collaboration because it wasn't with specifically YouTubers.
Yeah, when I watched, I thought you were going to bring up the 6 Degrees project.
No, I was in thinking mode, that's why I sound a little different in that situation because I'm not on.
Yeah.
I wasn't looking to perform. I was looking to ask a question.
Yeah.
Jump right on, ask the question. Secondly, are there other people I look up to similar to what Gary? Definitely not Todd. Sorry.
I didn't even see Todd doing that.
I watched when Casey Neistat puts out
Such a
videos.
dick.
Casey Neistat puts out videos. He did 18 months straight of a video a day with maybe 2 days where he didn't, and that showed you that he skyrocketed his career.
Yet now he only does one a week, and his content's still getting viewed like crazy.
It still gets tons of views, but it's not getting 200 million views in a month. It's down to like 50 million.
Yeah.
But it still works, but it just shows. I watch what he does. There's not too many people else online that I follow what they do as much as that I've seen Gary over the years.
Casey, by the way, gets so much hate now in the comment section on YouTube.
What, they call him a sellout?
I don't. Yeah, it's all after the CNN
Oh,
thing. So
poor
much
you
hate.
and the commenters who aren't successful and need to try and knock him down for being successful.
God bless him.
It's a shame. Yeah,
I actually just started to follow him not too long ago.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really subscribe to anyone on YouTube, and I just recently started doing that.
Yeah, I
so.
unsubscribed to fucking.
I wish YouTube did make it easier to follow subscribers, though.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. Like, I'm subscribed to some people, but some of the videos that they recommend, they really do. They need a better system where you subscribe to somebody, and it's almost like you have a feed, a channel, Like you can flip through it like Netflix or something like that better than just the front page.
Yeah, because once you get over 10, 15 subscribers, or you're subscribed to channels, you get to the point where it's just flooded with random videos.
They need to come up with something.
Yeah.
All right.
I wonder if it's like Pandora though, like the things that you like more. Or
of course,
it seems like the algorithm is that way.
It heavily weights the stuff.
And
that
I
you
actually
like.
do usually like the related videos for the most part, but sometimes it's just too much.
Yeah.
John Scullett. I have an old Sigma 70-200 DG I use for sports shooting. How do I determine A, good glass, B, lens has had its day in the sun, and C, can an expert like Alan's camera determine if the lens should be replaced? The answer is if you're getting pictures and they look fine, then don't worry about any. It doesn't matter if it's good glass if you get good shots. Has the lens had a day in the sun? If it's not performing well and missing shots, then maybe yes. And no, Alan's camera can't sit there and tell you definitively whether or not your lens needs to be replaced. It's pretty cut and dry. It either works or there's some issues. If you had a 24-70 Canon lens.
Whoa.
And you couldn't.
Keep my lens out your mouth.
Can't he just send in a Sigma, though, for servicing?
He could, but maybe he wants the lens in and around your mouth, Todd. No, he could send it in for servicing. You could send it in for servicing.
I mean, that would be if you really wanted a specialist
if you have an
to
issue.
check.
But if you don't have any issues, then no big deal. Just keep shooting. Doesn't matter if it's a little older.
Yeah.
Steven Pasco has a video question.
Hey, Jared. So my question is, what factors do you usually take into consideration when you're recommending a lens? I've noticed that you've recommended 70-200 quite often, and I'm wondering, why do you recommend that as opposed to, let's say, a 55-300? I know being that it's at 300 millimeters, it's not as tack sharp as, let's say, at 200, but being that it's 55, it's wider than 70.
All right, Steven, I'm answering this because maybe there's a little confusion somewhere. But the reason I recommend a 70-200 2.8 is it's a constant aperture, and a 55-300 is not a constant aperture.
Yeah. It's a variable aperture.
At 55, what was that?
It's a variable aperture.
It's variable aperture. It's probably somewhere around 4.5 to 6 or 6.3. So it's not that it's not going to be sharper at 300 millimeters. It's that you're not letting in as much light. So a 70-200, the reason I recommend that, if people can afford a third party, most likely, when it comes to a DX camera, it's just let me just jump back into the pancakes thing, Todd.
Pam.
When I was shooting that, I turned to you how many times in between shooting going, man, these kit lenses suck.
Yeah.
And it's not, it's like, they're not setting you up for failure when you buy one of these new cameras and they give you kit lenses and a 70-300.
Yeah.
It just makes it so much more difficult because you don't know what you're doing yet. And you think that your camera sucks and it's not. It's these lenses. And I can still get good results with 18-55 because I know what I'm doing with it, but it's that much harder for somebody shooting an auto when they just start out, there's no problem for shooting an auto. We all started there. I was there for a long time, and it's just, I know that the quicker somebody can understand and wrap their head around better glass is the quicker they get to taking better photos, because once you go better glass, you never go back.
Yeah.
It's that simple. Once you see what the results are, when you just look through the viewfinder and it's that much brighter than a variable aperture lens. And yes, they're more expensive, but I also know that you're going to get better results, be a happier photographer, and you're going to like the photos that you come up with.
Yeah.
So that's my answer to that.
And with video, that fixed aperture, I feel like, is a must. Just having 2.6 all the way through your zoom,
Yeah,
to be able
2.8.
or 2.8.
Yep.
Just to be able to have that 2.8 all the way through and be able to recompose and reshoot. And
That's a good point, Todd. Remind me of what you shot my first video guide with.
the kit lens. Well, you know what?
The 18
A
to
variable
what?
aperture lens.
Again, like it's all what you do with it.
Wait,
kit
What's your story?
And kit lenses are cool to a certain degree, but I have always considered them like a jack of all trades, master of none. Like, they do everything pretty good.
Kind of like Todd.
They do the job.
They do the job, but they're not the best. Kind of like Dan.
Kind of like the Canadians.
And with
Sorry.
video, sharpness doesn't matter as much because it's still
Sure.
a compressed video file. It's not a raw file that you're dealing with.
Exactly. And we know you're out of focus.
Steve Olisey.
Look who's talking.
What do you think about sites like SmugMug and the like? I heard that most labs don't use high-quality inks. Who makes the highest quality prints in your opinion? Well, the reason I'm answering this is because I think they must be confused. There's SmugMug, there's Zenfolio. These are sites that host your images and then connect with the lab of your choice to make prints. You're probably mistaken because most of these labs still print with wet labs.
Yeah.
Meaning they go through chemicals. I know that Adorama does a lot of that. Now, I know that Alan's Camera still has a machine. The machine that Alan's Camera has, they have a chemical machine for negatives. It actually has an inkjet Noritsu that uses Epson. I think it's Epson inks on that.
Interesting. I had Noritsu, but it was wet lab.
But, right. And well, yeah, so this is the newer lab that they have. I think most companies that are bigger that pump out a lot of prints are still doing the wet prints.
Because then you don't have to change and adjust your chemicals very often. If you're printing every single day a million prints, you're fine. But if you're not, you have to keep churning through those chemicals and printing out blanks just to keep those chemicals fresh.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
Who makes the highest quality prints in your opinion? I think prints are going to be very similar these days from most of the labs, whether it's Adorama, whether it's Bay Photo out in California, whether it's MPix, whether it's White House. There's a ton of different ones out there. As long as they're constantly running prints and they're calibrated and they redo their chemicals, you're going to get the same results in this day and age. So that's it.
My biggest thing is the user interface that you have to upload your prints to. Some of them still use like old FTP style like interfaces that you have to upload to, and it's such a pain to catalog your stuff, upload it, whatever. I think Adorama is great with that. With their online uploader.
Their online uploader is good, and they have a lot of different options, and that's not just to plug them.
They have a desktop uploader too, don't they?
That I'm not aware of.
I'm not sure.
All right, moving on. We've got Brian Yanez has a video question. Yanez. Yeah, it's Yanez.
Yeah.
I don't think he's Canadian.
Sorry.
Hey, Jared, Steven, and Todd. Brian here. My question today is whether or not I should go to school for my photography or not. I'm currently assisting a commercial photographer here in town, and he perhaps suggested maybe just going to school for 1 year and make some good connections and then get out just to save money. What's your opinion on that? Should I just keep doing what I'm doing, assisting, and expand that way? Or should I invest in myself, go for 1 year, or perhaps all 4 years? Love your guys' content. Keep up the good work. Thanks, guys.
So this is a valid question. I know I've answered the college question a lot, but there's a reason I picked this one is because he brought up the thing that he was suggested that maybe you go just for 1 year and get out for the connections. You're not making connections in 1 year from going to school. We went to St. Joseph's University yesterday, and all I could think about was how amazing must it be to be a college student in an awesome 4-year school that has a lot of opportunities with athletics and academics for a creative. There was a guy walking around with a Red camera, and when I asked him if he knows where I could find a Red camera, he goes, "No, I can't help you with that." I'm like, and I said, "Aren't you holding one?" And he's like, I don't know.
I don't understand
I don't know what he was doing.
I don't know if he didn't realize we were joking. Like,
I do have a dry sense of humor.
You were clearly joking.
He's like, because I asked him, like, do you know where the bathroom?
Holding a Red camera.
Todd, he's
like,
holding
where
a
we
rig.
can find a Red at?
And
he's like, no.
Maybe it was a PA. Maybe
no,
he
he goes,
really know.
So he comes out of the
it
dugout.
says Red on the camera.
I get it, but he might like.
No, man. He comes out of. They're not going to give somebody a Red camera if they don't know how to use a Red camera.
I mean, this was a Canon EF lens too.
He might have been transporting it from one place to the other.
No, he was filming the whole time.
He was. Oh, that's
so
funny.
He comes out of the dugout. I go, "Do you know where the bathroom is?" He goes, "No, I can't help you with that." I'm like, "Do you know where I could find a Red?" And he goes, No. I'm like,
Isn't that a Red?
And I go, "Aren't you holding one?"
No.
He's like,
No, he said no. He's like, no.
I was like,
yes, you are.
Really? Thought you were trying to rob him.
I'm like, do you know who I am?
I will say it made me miss college going there yesterday, and it's a beautiful campus, St. Joe's.
So the answer, and I've been saying this a lot to people, is one of the other photographers that was there shooting said when he went to college, he said that he got on he didn't even go for photography, but became a photographer because of all the photo shoots he ended up doing.
Wow.
He went to Pitt and he got on a lot of different...
just like Garfinkel.
Yeah,
he
the organizations. He shot all the sports. My recommendation, like if you go to a 4-year school, yes, it's a big expenditure, but you do get a lot of connections out of there. I find it hard to say go to a 2-year dedicated photography school alone. That's very hard for me to say that, even with me going to Antonelli, unless all you want is 2 years of that because you're going back to school and that's what you want is a crash course in just photo. But if you want to find a position and you go to the biggest 4-year sports school that you can find, any of those schools, stay in state so you can spend less money and get on every photo yearbook thing that you can do. Use their gear. Maybe take a minor in photography, marketing, branding, everything you could do, and then you can come out and have a job with Gary Vaynerchuk.
I can actually trace back all the way from this job to when I was working in college radio, in college, obviously. That's basically how I got this job. I can trace it back to that specific moment.
Oh, yeah.
Because then I went to the radio station, which then I started taking more and more pictures of studio sessions and artists. Then I started shooting concerts, met you, and then here I am today. I mean, it's honestly all because
worst decision you ever made.
No, I remember
working in college radio, like a crappy radio station, which was awesome, by the way. But
I remember when Steven told me that he bought the
Never thought
white
about that.
I Shoot Raw Japan shirt.
That's the day I met you in Festival Pier, I
Like,
believe.
I
It was like a
ordered that
Weezer
shirt.
show we were shooting.
Was that Weezer?
I think it was Weezer, yeah.
And then I was like, was that you on stage announcing 311?
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's keep moving. Nicholas Vicenzo has a video question.
Hey Jared, this is Nicholas from Montreal, Canada. My question to you is, how do I get over being shy in approaching someone to do a photo shoot with me? Whether it be for modeling, for cosplay, or for a possible photo shoot gig. What would you say is the best way for me to build my confidence and to ask them? Thanks.
All right, Nicholas, first off, sorry that you're Canadian. Second off,
Big ups to him for even doing the video, by the way. That shows confidence right there.
You took a major step in exactly what you're asking me a question about.
Yeah.
And you just did it by making the video and putting it out for the world to see and having us share. And I think you did a great job doing it. You came across confident, except for the headroom. And, you had the headroom thing going. Most people have gotten that better.
Except for being Canadian.
Look, the cosplay stuff is you just walk up to these people. Even if you're wearing a costume, then you could basically be that costume and hide behind that while you're asking for permission. I mean,
that's what Jared does every day. He wears a freaking costume.
He's a furry.
Yeah.
Not a furry.
With your
He's
hair,
an
you are.
insecure guy with muscles.
So just go ask. You just did it right here. Do exactly what you did here and be prepared for no. Get 10 no's. Doesn't matter. At some point you'll get a yes. That's just how it works. And you just go, okay, sorry, and move on.
Yes. I'll give you that one. I'll give you that.
That was good.
Paul Chips Wen. Oh shit, this is from Instagram. His name Paul Chips. No, Paul CHPICO Pix.
It says Pix.
Paul Pix.
Paul CH Pix.
Yeah. When you're insuring your equipment, does it cover things like grips wearing out, shutters, loosening grip rings, or on lenses? Insurance doesn't cover wear and tear.
Yeah.
Right.
And nobody's insurance is covering wear and tear.
No,
or
your
general
insurance doesn't
use.
cover the tires on your car. Think of it like that.
Next up is Jay Sanchez Do. Oh, jeez. The do, it didn't put a space there again. Do you have some sort of YouTube no compete agreement with Steven or Todd?
Steven,
if not,
yes.
I never signed anything.
If not,
Dick talk.
Would you be against them focusing on solo stuff? No, there is no non-compete. I haven't had one with anybody that I've worked with in this, and other people. When you work here, if you decide that you want to do a YouTube channel, I embrace that.
You do. You encourage it.
I encourage more content, and we send.
That's where Jerry gets all his best ideas when I do a new video.
Yeah, right. Well, Todd wouldn't have 10,000 subscribers. Adam wouldn't have close to 50,000 subscribers. Adam more so.
He's been putting out a lot more.
He's been putting out a lot more, and we haven't posted a lot of those on our site, which I should do. There's no reason we just haven't talked about it.
He's got the Machine.
He's got the Machine podcast. No, as long as we're on good terms, everything's fine.
Yeah.
If we're not, then it's like that first question that got answered.
Screw you guys. I'm
screw
going
you
home.
guys,
I
I'm
will
going
crush
home.
you.
But no, there is no non-compete there. I think
It's a funny question. I'm surprised we never got that before.
I have that little contracty thing I had written up.
Yep.
That doesn't say non-compete.
That was like a non-disclosure.
No, it's not non-disclosure. It just says I believe what it says is if you're on the show, you're involved in a show, if you're in a video, if you create content here, then it's part of FroKnowsPhoto, but not your personal stuff.
Yeah, it was
not
more for
your photo shoots. Not that. It's anything that's created in-house.
Sure.
Is FroKnowsPhoto thing, and that was that.
Yeah.
Tuesdays from Instagram. What's a good way to have a clause or a paragraph in your client contract that helps with your style of edit? I've recently done edits for a company, and they liked my style of edits, but one of them changed after I delivered the videos. If The whole reason you hire someone is for their look and feel of their editing style. Why would you contact them after and have them completely redo their videos? It lowered my confidence because I felt I #crush edited it and delivered one damn good edit. But after all the changes, I hated the edit and didn't want to work with the company again, but I couldn't pass up the money.
Yeah.
Well, first off, go on Facebook Live
and say sorry.
and tell them, catch me outside. That's all I got.
Oh, that's all you got? So this is that dilemma. If you're doing stuff for a company and it doesn't fit their corporate model of what they want to look like and they're going to ask you for something different, then you make the decision. You just said it yourself. You wanted the money. And you suck it up and you do it.
Yeah.
It's like somebody saying that we want to make that a square photo, but we just paid you $5,000. Are you cool with it? I'm not going to be like, no, I don't crop.
Do what you want.
Be like, yeah, you need this for for that. Yeah, go ahead and do what you need to do because you just paid me for it.
But he's right. You do typically hire someone based on their style, and usually you would see that before hiring them, that there's a very specific style that they do.
So there actually is a clause that you can put into your contracts, and that's a one revision clause.
Yeah.
Or no revisions, or revisions that are needed to be made that are major will be charged at X amount of dollars an hour.
Yeah, I used to do 2 revisions on edits sometimes.
And as far as being put down from that, I would say it's all subjective. Everyone's style is subjective.
Yeah.
Whether you like to crush the blacks or, brighten up the blacks, faded look, whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everyone's different.
You never know what they want.
Yeah.
And that is flying solo.
Cool.
So after flying solo, we get into the Wheel of Fro. Yeah, Dan forgot to get the wheel.
One job.
One job.
One job.
I mean, wait, let's see. Is everything synced up today? No? Dude, if that happens again...
One job.
Yo, watch the 6-big.
That's broken.
Watch my floor.
That's broken. That's scratched.
All right, I'll start with the wheel. At the top of the wheel, we have GafferPower.com. The code is FRO15 for 15% off anything when you get it at Gaffer Power. It's GafferPower.com. They emailed me and said that I said /Fro. There is no /Fro. Just go to GafferPower.com and use the code FRO15.
Yeah, you said it last week correct.
I did?
Last RAWtalk, yep.
I said correct?
You said it correctly.
So let me just say this to Gaffer Power. If I said it wrong, sorry.
And all that mountain of gaff tape behind you is all the cool colors that Gaffer Power tape comes in.
Is purple over there?
Purple is actually right here.
Oh, purple's over here. It's not actually the right color purple that I would want for my chair.
I was going to say,
not iris.
Can we just tape up his chair and get him to shut up?
This is not the Herman Miller purple.
This is the purple I would like my chair to be.
I mean, that's close.
No, that's lighter. This is Barney.
This is like lavender.
Can we wrap the tape around your neck instead of the scarf?
You're not funny, Todd. Well, Steven did do that for my bobblehead.
We did.
In the 3 shots.
Yeah, I saw that.
Store.FroKnowsPhoto.com. Use the code RAWtalk. Oh, check this out. Ooh. Check out what I'm going to do, Dan. RAWtalk. So the code is RAWtalk216, and I'm going to do a discount on something. I should have thought of this beforehand.
Great pre-production.
So code RAWtalk216, which is only going to be live from Monday to Monday, so 1 week, will give you 60% off. That's 16. That's 16% off anything in the store.
Wow.
For that 1 week.
Not 216%.
No, I'm going to try to
off?
think of a better one for the next episode, so I'll pick it for a specific product. I was trying to do this fast, but I failed. Rode microphone, myrodereel.com. That's what we'll promote, myrodereel.com. Lexar, we use Lexar cards in all of our cameras for all of our shoots.
Yep.
We've got Atmosphere Aerosol. Go to Atmosphere Aerosol's website and use the code FRO to get 10% off. We got Hoya. Hoya? Where did he spray it?
He sprayed it behind him,
Oh.
like you should have every time.
What, Hoya? Hoya! Go to FroKnowsPhoto.com/guides to check out all our guides. Squarespace.com/Fro to get 14-day free trial. Videoblocks.com/go/Fro. Store.FroKnowsPhoto.com. Click on the bag if you want to get 16% off. Use the code RAWtalk216 for that. Rode, myrodereel.com. KesslerCrane.com/Fro. Use the code FRO15 to get 15% off. FRO10?
FRO10 to get 10% off.
Sorry. Spin again. Canon prize. Adorama picks. Gonna be working on a link soon that's adoramapics.com/fro, which will help me out. We've got the Lens Mugs shop, so go to Lensmug. What's it say?
Get your own Nikan.
Yeah, lensmug.com. Use the code. I don't know what the code is. Oh, the code is FroCode. That's why. And then Think Tank photo bags. And now it's time to spin the wheel. And I have a winner guy to spin it for.
Do you?
Spin that wheel!
Bag.
Round and round it goes. Where it stops, nobody knows.
Bag.
Ooh.
Oh, so close.
Ooh.
Pancakes, and the winner is Jonathan Walters. Congratulations, Jonathan Walters. You are winning some air in a can.
Air in a can.
Just like in Spaceballs. All right, so that is the Wheel of Fro. Congratulations to you. Let's get to memes.
Let's do it.
All right, so here we are with memes. If you'd like to send in a meme, send it to singwheelofro@gmail.com. Is Steven's big-ass EVGA computer in my frame, Dan?
Perfect. That's
and how many fingerprints are on it?
Perfect. Nice and oily for you.
So let's get to the first meme of the week. Todd?
All right, we have from Alex, we've got something he found funny. It's Nut Punch. Apparently, Nut Punch will fuel your life.
I think it's Canadian.
Sorry.
Supercharge your breakfast.
I feel like Nut Punch wouldn't fuel your life. It might end the life of your children, but... Anyway, the next one is from George Andre. He found Wolf Street.
Ooh.
Looks like it's in the ghetto.
He found Wolf Street.
Makes sense.
It's in Australia, which is like the ghetto.
Oi!
And next one's from Jay Branson. This is apparently somebody that looks like Steven. He's an Australian
which
rugby
one's
player.
Steven? The one on
They're
the left
twins.
or the
The one
right?
on the right.
They're twins.
Well, I think it's the one on the right.
But they're both sweaty.
Well, that's the only thing he said looked like Steven, the sweat.
Screw you.
Next one's from Kyle Hill. It's the Meredith. 3 shots or less.
Oh, boy.
I don't get the pink, but...
Next one's from Mark Gurnett. This is the future Jared. He found this photo of
That really looks like
somebody.
Jared. Oh, my God. And Jared's got that beer gut, too.
That's after he has too many cupcakes.
That's not going to happen.
Next one's from Martin Ward. It's Jared's assistant. Oh. No, Jared. You focus like Steven.
I fix.
Next one's from Wes Jones. It's Gear Vault. Protect your gear with Gear Vault. Comes in 4 convenient sizes. The Noah, the Steven, the Jared, and the Todd.
What is
only
that?
$29.99. Lock sold separately.
I swear Todd only picks the good ones for him.
I did
every time.
You dick. And last but not least,
I don't know what they
we
are.
have a little a video from a friend of ours here.
Jared Polin. FroKnowsPhoto.com. Welcome to
My Gear Vault.
Over the years as a photographer, I've accumulated a lot of gear. Cameras, lenses,
Porsche.
tripods, lights.
Porsche.
Still don't own a Porsche. You name it, I have it. But keeping track of it all for personal, business, or insurance purposes was next to impossible. I tried creating my own documents and spreadsheets. I tried scanning receipts. I tried everything until I gave up. And I'm not the only one who needs a $92,000 Porsche.
I've met countless other creatives with the same exact problem.
Amateurs and professionals alike agree that there needs to be a modern, more efficient way to know what you have.
I always like to get best of the best with honors, so I decided to get that.
And what it's worth. $92,000. That's why I created My Gear Vault. My Gear Vault is the best solution to input, organize, and protect your gear. All right, let's move on here. We've got a couple of things to talk about. My $92,000 Porsche.
Goodbye, you.
See ya.
And thank you.
That's a long one.
That was a marathon
long.
one
I
right
hope
there.
we didn't lose
92,000
anybody.
Porsche.
So who are you picking as a winner this week, Todd?
Well, I like Gear Vault. The Gear Vault of
My
my
Porsche
gear.
Vault?
Obviously, the Todd is probably the one you want to purchase.
I like the kitty one with you focus like Steven.
I love the Mark Gwinnett future Jared. That was Spot on.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Spot
how about
on.
all three of them?
We'll give it to all three of them.
Yeah,
there
that
you go.
works.
All right. So congratulations go out to all three of those people.
Congratulations, Wes Jones and
Mark Gwinnett. And I don't know who the other
and
one
something else. And Martin Ward.
And there you have it, people. That is Memes of the Week. Send all of them in for the next.
I don't have my soundboard up.
You have 2 weeks to get in for the next one. 2 weeks. Singwheelofro@gmail.com.
Best email address ever.
All right, guys, this is bonus content. A super fan of the show who wants to remain anonymous sent us 5 boxes of goodies to open up for mail time.
Wow.
This person in the past has given Dan a nice sweater, gave us
Cash cannon.
the cash cannon,
The cash cannon.
Use it all the
and a
time.
bunch of other stuff. So we're going to open up the boxes and see what's in them. Hopefully it's good.
Hopefully.
And that's Steven's box right there.
Hopefully they're not
I love how
ticking.
I get one little box and you get 4 giant boxes.
Cool, where's mine?
He said that they're all...
Dan,
They're
where's
all for Jared
Dan,
and I.
Dan, do you have mine? Where's my box?
He said that they're all mixed together. So let's see.
Where's my box?
Just gonna go to town?
I don't have a box.
Oh man, these are really sealed up.
I don't have a box.
Todd, how's your opening going? How you doing over there?
It's like this.
Oh my God. All right, hold on.
We have instructions.
There's instructions. Oh, there's instructions. Jared, all work and no play makes the factory a dull place. Enjoy. And no, I couldn't make it. The font. No, I couldn't make the font any larger.
Look at how big the font is. That's great.
Todd, you've been using the cash cannon a lot in the past year, so I thought you might want some spares. Also, it doesn't hurt to have a few stacks on hand just in case.
Thank you. Oh my God.
This one says, Steven, just think of all the money you would have saved if you skipped the 5D Mark IV and got this instead.
Oh my God. Look at
Let's
those
see
cash
what it
cannons.
is.
What the hell?
Look what he got me. It's a Lego camera.
Oh, nice.
Todd, wait, there's more in the box.
That's awesome. Oh, I love this guy.
A Porsche 911.
That's apparently for Jared.
Check out my Porsche.
And
Jeez, look at all
another
this.
Porsche.
Porsche Turbo.
Now we can race them.
Oh, man.
There's more in the box.
Freaking Porsches, man.
What is that?
Oh, my God.
20 batteries.
We actually need batteries, too.
Oh, for the Porsche.
It's
Well,
probably for the Porsche. I'm sure it's for the Porsche and the
Is
cannons
this
and
Porsche
everything.
racing? Is that what this is going to be?
The Cash Cannon
All right.
Light Show. That's awesome.
All right, so we now have a lot of cash cannons.
Does
Who's
this
going to
have
pick them
lights
up,
on
though?
it, too? Oh, this one does have
Oh, my God.
more.
There's more.
More.
Any guesses to what's in the box, Todd?
It's
Another
Porsche.
Porsche.
Holy
How many
jeez.
Porsches do we need?
Wow.
I don't even like Porsches.
Well, I mean, you've got like
Well, now we
3
can
already
race
in
them
real life,
downstairs.
so.
Now that you have the space clean, oh my gosh, what the hell?
it's a Porsche 918 Spider. And there's
Well,
another...
now that we have the whole room opened up downstairs, I think we can probably race these all together.
and a Porsche 911. I don't even like Porsche.
I mean, you got like 3 in the driveway.
That's
so
what I'm saying. I
think you do.
You got one parked outside. Catch me outside.
I love this.
What?
This
What
freaking
else we
Lego
got?
camera.
What in the Sam hell?
Jeez.
Wait, which one of these is Josh's so I can give one to Josh?
We're gonna have we need a Porsche party at this point.
Seriously.
Oh my God.
Hey, look, something that's not a Porsche.
These are awesome.
What
Well,
is
that's the suitcase that you put in your Porsche. Your real Porsche.
That's the money. To keep all your Porsche money in.
12,000, right? Or
Exactly.
92,000, whatever.
What is it? Oh, I see what it is.
Oh, it's money
cash
for the
cannon
cannon. Oh, this guy's awesome.
Yeah, that cash.
One
is
more
insane.
box.
Holy jeez.
The whole table is decked out. Yeah, see, that's the top. This is the tops of that.
Here are some insulated cups for tea or coffee. They can also be used as portable DNA storage receptacles. At the end of a long day of shooting, sometimes you need to download on the go. These will help keep the DNA as fresh as possible.
Oh, that's
Please don't have
great.
Porsches on them.
I hope they do.
No, they're just different colors.
Oh, no, they have your logo on.
No, they're not. They have my logo on them.
Holy
Wow.
jeez.
And they're ceramic. That's cool.
Definitely breaking those.
It's all about me, so that's Todd.
That's the tops. Wow, we actually need them too for here. We have nothing here.
So that's mail time.
So that was Christmas.
Thank you for all the Porsches.
Here's more.
Anonymous person. And thank you for all the 3 cash cannons and more money.
Jeez.
We appreciate it. If you'd like to send something in for mail time,
if you'd like to top this, send us more.
If you'd like to send something in, you can email singwheelofro@gmail.com and we'll give you the information on where to go. And that's it. Bye-bye. Dan, do we have any hashtags?
I think that's a yes.
Steven, please pass me them. But don't read them. This is secret. Hashtag, actually,
worst.
Sorry.
Worst hashtag.
What's that say? Bullet point? Bullet point, Dan?
Hashtag bullet point?
They're hashtag. No, he just put bullet point.
Oh.
You got a hashtag. Hashtag.
No, the one is it's like hashtag and a bullet point together.
Sorry. Hashtag sorry. Hashtag
sorry.
H.A.
Oh.
It was the H.265 and we said H.A if it was Canada.
Hashtag furry. He's supposed to write down things that we say hashtag to, not make up his own.
He just makes up things he thinks is funny.
But they're not.
No,
I don't think we actually
terrible.
said any hashtags.
Hashtag
today,
Dan
we did.
sucks at
Hashtag sorry.
That's the only thing we said? Dan?
We said hashtag sorry, yeah.
Unbelievable. All right, let's call it a day. That's the end of the show. Dan just ruined it all again.
You blew it!
Again, we got all the way through a perfect show.
Perfect.
We didn't make fun of any countries today.
None.
Sorry. All right. This week's episode has been brought to you by Canada and the Defense Minister of Canada. Oh, Jesus, Todd. And that's RAWtalk 216. Thank you guys for watching.
Sorry.
Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com.
Sorry.
See ya.
Sorry.
Sorry.